His Excellency Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, Mr. Ong Ye Kong, Minister for Education of Singapore, NTU Pro-Chancellor, Mr. Chandra Das, Your Excellencies, Chairman, NTU Board of Trustees, Mr. Koh Boon Hui, members, NTU Board of Trustees, President of NTU, Professor Subra Suresh, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Namaste. It is indeed my privilege to welcome all of you on behalf of Nanyang Technological University to this truly special event, a dialogue with His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, on the theme of transforming Asia through innovation. My name is Alan Chan, and I'm a professor of philosophy currently serving as Vice President and Dean of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences at NTU. Now, today's event is truly a memorable one for all of us, and we are deeply honored to have His Excellency Prime Minister Modi visiting the university, interacting with our students and faculty, witnessing the presentation and exchange of a number of agreements, as well as the conferment of a special professorship, joining us in conversation, and planting a tree in commemoration of this special occasion. To open this afternoon's proceedings, may I now please invite NTU President, Professor Subra Suresh, to deliver his welcome remarks. Professor Suresh, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellency, Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, Mr. Ong Ye Kong, Singapore's Minister of Education, NTU Pro-Chancellor Chandra Das, Mr. Koh Boon Hui, Chairman of NTU Board of Trustees, members of the NTU Board of Trustees, Your Excellencies, representatives of diplomatic missions in Singapore, distinguished guests, members of the NTU family, faculty, students, and staff, ladies and gentlemen, namaste. Today is a very special day for all of us at NTU. This is the first time we are inviting, and we are blessed with the presence of Prime Minister Modi, the first Indian Prime Minister to visit NTU. Mr. Prime Minister, we thank you for giving us the honor of hosting you. I had the privilege of meeting you 4 years ago in September of 2014, along with a small group of prominent Indian Americans in New York City, on your first visit to the United States as the newly elected Prime Minister of India. You had just been elected the head of state in an open democratic election in the world's largest democracy, in an election where 814 million people were eligible to vote, making it the largest ever election in human history. With a clear majority, you had just taken office as Prime Minister. You were interested in our views and perspectives on how you could make India and the world better. Over many millennia, India has contributed significantly in every sphere of human endeavor: arts, culture, humanities, sciences, mathematics, architecture, technology, Ayurvedic medicine, space exploration, and yoga, just to name a few. But as a republic, India is just 71 years old since its independence in 1947. Singapore is even younger as an independent republic and will mark her 53rd year of independence in August of this year. Our university is half that age, having been established in its current form as Nanyang Technological University in 1991. The rise of India as one of the major economies in the world and the rise of Singapore as one of the most advanced nations in the world are mirrored in the development of their higher education systems and their young universities. Universities have always been the centers for the creation and dissemination of knowledge, for pushing the frontiers of human intellect, and for serving as catalysts for economic prosperity through innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. Universities take a very long-term perspective, and they exist for centuries. In our knowledge-based economy, Singapore and India rely on the free flow of talent and ideas into their countries and through their universities. Both countries recognize that this is a way to prosperity in the globalized world, and it is even more essential in our digital age today. Despite its young age, NTU has made great strides internationally because of Singapore government's strong and consistent support for education, research, and innovation. NTU has been named the world's best young university for the last 4 years by QS, as well as the fastest rising young university in the world by Times Higher Education. Last year, the US News and World Report, Financial Times, Nikkei, and other global media also placed NTU as one of the top institutions in the world in the areas of engineering and technology, computer science, artificial intelligence, material science and engineering, chemistry, MBA degree program, information and communication, among others. Known globally for its strengths in engineering, NTU is also excelling in many areas of natural sciences, business, medicine, humanities, arts and social sciences, and in education. The National Institute of Education, which certifies every K-12 school teacher in Singapore, considered one of the best school systems in the world, has its home at NTU. Our renowned academic programs in public administration have trained thousands of government officials and leaders from China and other Asian countries. More than 220,000 alumni of NTU, living in about 150 countries around the world, are making substantial contributions in academia, industry, and government, and to local and global communities. Through Intuitive, an entity created to foster entrepreneurship and to translate discoveries and creativity from research into startups, NTU is also contributing to innovation and economic prosperity of Singapore and the region. Earlier this year, we articulated our vision for the NTU Smart Campus that will transform this beautiful university into a living testbed for innovative technologies. We can demonstrate the effectiveness of the solutions so that our partners from industry and the public sector can have the confidence to take them to the market in Singapore and beyond. Singapore has a vision to emerge as an early smart nation, and our faculty and students at NTU are supporting Singapore in fulfilling this vision. Today, on this campus, we have forged major partnerships with a number of global industry leaders. They include the global e-commerce giant, Alibaba from China, which established its first joint institute outside of China on our campus to further the social impact of artificial intelligence. Rolls-Royce from the United Kingdom to research and develop aerospace technologies, and Taiwanese multinational Delta Electronics to further advance cyber physical systems. We have also placed particular emphasis on the impact of technology on society, especially as the fourth industrial revolution begins to introduce many disruptive transformations in the workforce and in the lives and livelihood of citizens around the globe. Just 3 months ago, NTU announced the launch of the NTU Institute of Science and Technology for Humanity, which will serve as a forum for multidisciplinary research, policy discussions, and activities that address how human behavior will interface with technologies to impact the human condition. NTU's aspiration is to play a pivotal role in shaping a balanced discussion of the many benefits of technological innovation, as well as their unintended and potentially detrimental consequences. We thus seek to serve as a catalyst in shaping policies, practices, and regulations that will address such major societal issues as ethics in the use of technologies, workforce development, income and opportunity disparity, climate change, urbanization, and lifelong learning to continually upgrade one's employment prospects as the aging population seeks a fulfilling and healthy living with increasing life expectancy. Mr. Prime Minister, under your leadership, India is undergoing a transformation through innovation. You are viewed by many in India as Mr. Tech. Welcome to NTU. You are also very social media savvy. You have an astonishing 43 million followers on Facebook, another 42 million followers on Twitter, even though you don't tweet at 3 a.m., 892,000 followers on YouTube, and thousands more across other social media platforms, making you one of the world's most followed leaders. As Chief Minister of Gujarat, you drove the expansion of the internet there, and since becoming Prime Minister, you have established the Digital India program. Through engagement and partnerships with India, NTU researchers and students will have an opportunity to apply their cutting-edge research in a diverse society of 1.3 billion people. NTU's new partnership with the National Institution for Transforming India, or NITI Aayog, seeks to contribute to India's efforts to create smart cities. We aim to bring artificial intelligence, machine learning, cognitive computing, digital humanities, social sciences, business, and big data analytics to improve healthcare, cybersecurity, automation, mobility, smart energy systems, and e-governance. Innovation, transforming society, is something that's important to us. Transforming society through innovation is a vision that Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan also shares and firmly believes in. The chairman of Axelor Ventures in Bangalore and the co-founder and former CEO of Infosys, Chris is well known across India and around the world as a great corporate leader, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. He has given generously to education, research, and entrepreneurship, especially in new research in brain sciences. Today, Mr. Gopalakrishnan is announcing here a historic $4 million gift to support cutting-edge research at NTU. institutions, a $2 million gift to NTU to establish the Gopalakrishnan NTU Presidential Postdoctoral Fellowship. This will fund 2 postdoctoral researchers at NTU each year. In addition, to support collaboration between NTU and 2 of the best Indian universities, Mr. Gopalakrishnan is contributing another $2 million, about $1 million each, for Indian Institute of Technology Madras and Indian Institute of Science Bangalore for student exchanges and joint PhD research exclusively in partnership with NTU. This will enable students and faculty from NTU and the Indian institutions to partner so that members of each institution benefit from the strengths and capabilities of the others. Besides making these generous gifts to NTU, IIT Madras and IISc, Mr. Gopalakrishnan is also giving his time generously to NTU to deliver lectures and to mentor our students and faculty in innovation, entrepreneurship, and creation of new businesses as the Nanyang Visiting Professor of Practice at NTU. NTU already has deep research collaborations with 169 Indian institutions. These connections have resulted in almost 800 co-authored publications just in the last 6 years. Since 2011, NTU has launched 7 communication satellites that are presently orbiting the Earth. These have been designed and built by our faculty, staff, and students. 5 of them were launched into space from India by the Indian Space Research Organization's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. In space exploration, we are announcing today a new partnership with the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, or IIST, covering space science and technology research and education. And we look forward to joint satellite projects and a sustained exchange of programs on space research. New joint PhD programs will also be set up with IIT Madras and IIT Bombay, and a new PhD research collaboration program will commence with the Indian Institute of Science Bangalore. These will leverage the complementary strengths of our institutions in key areas such as science, engineering, design, and management. Prime Minister Modi, your visit has enabled us to significantly enhance NTU's partnerships with institutions in India. We have so much to look forward to achieving together. Thank you again for visiting us today, and we thank all of our distinguished guests for joining us here on this very special occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Suresh. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy a short introduction to NTU Singapore.
Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, is a world-leading research-intensive university. The growth of Asia has seen a rise in ambitious young Asian universities like NTU Singapore. As part of its Smart Campus vision, NTU is embracing technologies for better living and learning. The cosmopolitan community is made up of 40,000 students, staff and faculty. and an alumni family of more than 200. It has an ecosystem to support entrepreneurship and the translation of research into practical applications. NTU is globally recognized for its excellence in research and education in engineering, science, business, humanities, arts and social sciences, and education. Its joint medical school with Imperial College London has an innovative curriculum that draws on the strengths of both universities. Students enjoy a vibrant campus life and a well-rounded education. Recognized for its sustainability, NTU is frequently named among the top 15 most beautiful campuses in the world.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be witnessing the exchange of a number of academic agreements between NTU and our esteemed partners from India, as well as the presentation of a gift agreement and a certificate of appointment. Together, they will further strengthen NTU's already extensive engagement with India. May I now please invite Professor Suresh back on stage to officiate the presentation and exchange of agreements. Professor Suresh. May I now also please invite Minister for Education, Mr. Ong Ye Kong, to join us on stage as witness to the presentation and exchange of agreements. Minister Ong, please. I now have the pleasure of inviting His Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi to join us on stage. Thank you, Your Excellency. First, the university is pleased to announce the establishment of the Gopalakrishnan NTU Presidential Postdoctoral Fellowships, made possible by a generous gift from Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan. May I please invite Mr. Gopalakrishnan to take his place on stage. Through a gift of 4 million Singapore dollars from Mr. Gopalakrishnan, of which $2 million will be set aside for the Gopalakrishnan NTU Presidential Postdoctoral Fellowships, we are able to attract the brightest young scientists from around the world to pursue their research at NTU. May I please invite Mr. Gopalakrishnan to present the gift agreement to President Suresh. NTU is also pleased to announce the appointment of Mr. Gopalakrishnan as NTU Professor of the Practice, a position the university offers to exceptional individuals of outstanding achievements. Thank you, Mr. Gopalakrishnan. Would you please kindly remain on stage? NTU is pleased to enter into a joint PhD program with the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. May I please invite Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, Director of IIT Madras, to come forward to exchange the joint PhD agreement between NTU and IIT Madras. A gift of 1 million Singapore dollars has been provided by Mr. Gopalakrishnan to support students from IIT Madras to participate in this program. Thank you, Professor Ramamurthy. The next agreement is a research collaboration agreement between the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore and NTU. May we please have Professor Anurag Kumar, Director, IISc Bangalore, on stage for the exchange of the agreement. A gift of 1 million Singapore dollars has also been provided by Mr. Gopalakrishnan to support students from IISc Bangalore to participate in this program. Thank you very much. Today, NTU will also be establishing a joint PhD program with the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. It is now my pleasure to invite Professor Davon Kakka, Director of IIT Bombay, to exchange the agreement with President Suresh. Thank you very much. NTU has considerable strength in satellite research, and we are pleased to announce today a Memorandum of Understanding with the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, or IIST. His Excellency Jawad Ashraf, High Commissioner of India to the Republic of Singapore, will represent IIST for the exchange. Thank you, High Commissioner. Last but not least, NTU is pleased to conclude a statement of intent with the National Institution for Transforming India, or NITI Aayog in short, to collaborate in promoting exchange of scientists and students, as well as joint research projects. May I please invite Professor Ling San, NTU Provost, and Ms. Anna Roy, Advisor, NITI Aayog, to exchange the agreement. NITI Aayog is the leading think tank spearheading India's effort in developing a digital economy and knowledge society. Thank you very much. Your Excellency Prime Minister Modi and Professor Suresh, would you please kindly take your seat on stage? And it is now my pleasure to invite Minister for Education, Mr. Ong Ye Kong, to present a formal introduction of His Excellency Narendra Modi. Minister Ong, please.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, friends, excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce His Excellency, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, although he really needs no introduction. PM Modi is the 14th Prime Minister of India and has served as the Prime Minister of the world's largest democracy since 2014, after winning the largest democratic election in history when more than 550 million votes were cast in the Indian general election. Before that, he was the Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat, where he earned a strong reputation as a forward-looking reformer who transformed the economy and lives of the people of the state. India is on the move. It is currently the world's fastest growing major economy. With some 1.3 billion people and a burgeoning young population, she is set to become the most populous nation on our planet in less than a decade. For centuries, it is at the heart of transoceanic commerce routes. Today, it is also a continent of creativity and innovation. India's position today is bolstered by various reforms that have taken place under PM Modi's leadership. This includes streamlining a complex taxation system into the goods and services tax, a new bankruptcy law, a strong push for skills development, the implementation of Aadhaar, and the promotion of a digital economy. For example, the Digital India program, launched by the PM in 2015, seeks to transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy, benefited many people by creating more economic and educational opportunities. India and Singapore, we are steadfast partners. It is partly because of history, because of the way the fates of our nation were linked, and that part of Singapore has a strong cultural connection to India. It is also partly because of the future, for we share a common vision and aspiration for the world and the region we live in. We wish for peace and stability in the world, prosperity driven by mutually beneficial trade, investment, exchange of people, knowledge, and ideas, growth that is inclusive and benefits the masses, technology that is working for us to make life better, and societies where diverse people can be themselves and yet live harmoniously together. Our common hopes for the future and our deep mutual respect for each other is probably why Singapore and India are strategic partners, the status brought about by PM Modi's last visit to Singapore in 2015. PM Modi, your sharp mind, humility, and life mission to give back to the community has inspired us to strive to learn from your leadership and your achievements. We are honored by your presence today at NTU, a young institution but with a long history and a center of innovation in Singapore. Earlier today, PM Modi suggested to PM Lee that between India and Singapore, we should gather our students and do a hackathon. Each country contribute a set of questions, and two sets of students come together and try to solve each other's problems. And chances are they can come up with cheap, efficient, and effective solutions. It's a great idea, and I think we should gather all universities. Prime Minister, it is now my pleasure to invite you to share your insights with us. Thank you.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for agreeing to spend some time with us in this conversation. We've had a number of questions. Of course, the number of questions is a lot more than we have time to address here, but we have tried to group them into certain categories that will enable us to address as many questions in a limited amount of time as possible. So let me start with the first question that's coming from our community. The theme of today's gathering is transforming Asia through innovation. In your perspective, what are Asia's main challenges, and how, from your vantage point, we can try to address them and solve them?
Thank you, Suraj. मैं समझता हूँ कोई इंटरप्रेटर वहाँ से करेंगे। मैं सबसे पहले तो सिंगापुर गवर्नमेंट को NTU को और मेरे मित्र सुरेश को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं इस उत्तम संस्था के निर्माण के लिए। और मैं जहां जितने लोगों से मेरा मिलना हुआ, कुछ ही समय था मेरे पास, जो कुछ भी मैंने देखा, एक प्रकार से बदलते हुए विश्व की उसमें एक झलक थी। और आप इनोवेशन कर रहे हैं ऐसा नहीं है, आप एक नए विश्व का गर्भाधान कर रहे हैं। मैं आप सबको बहुत बधाई देता हूं।
Thank you, Suresh. First of all, to the government of Singapore, to NTU and to Suresh, I would like to heartily congratulate you. Here you have put up, you have established an institution, and such a good institution par excellence, whoever I've had the opportunity to meet and whatever I've seen so far, this is a glimpse of the changing world. It's not just innovation that you are doing here in NTU, you are giving birth to a new world. Once again, my heartiest felicitations.
सुरेश ने मेरे सामने प्रश्न रखा है कि एशिया के उज्जवल भविष्य के बीच में कौन सी चुनौतियां हैं। एक बात निश्चित है कि पूरा विश्व इस बात में कन्विंस है कि 21st सेंचुरी एशिया की है। सबसे बड़ी चुनौती ये है कि हम एशिया के लोग इसे फील करते हैं या नहीं करते हैं। सिर्फ कान पे सुनकर के हमें खुशी हो रही है कि हमारे भीतर भी वो भाव जग रहा है कि यस, 21वीं सदी को एशिया की सदी बना के रहना है। ये एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती है। आज भी हम दुनिया के और भूभाग से इतने प्रभावित हैं क्योंकि सदियों से हम लोगों ने इस प्रकार की जिंदगी गुजारी है। इसलिए कभी हमें भी नहीं लगता है कि हाँ, अब हमारी बारी है, हम कुछ कर सकते हैं और हमें करना है।
The question that was posed to me by Suresh was the main challenges, Asia's main challenges, and how can we resolve them. First of all, I think the biggest challenge before us is that the 21st century belongs to Asia. And do we really feel this ourselves? Do we have this sentiment? I think that is the biggest challenge. Because in this part of the world, we have been so much impressed by the rest of the world that we do not feel that now it is our turn. Asia has seen the maximum rise in prosperity, opportunity, and freedom in the world. Japan led the process, Asian tigers followed. China has become a major economy, and it is India's turn to sustain progress now. Yet Asia has many common challenges. Southeast Asia in particular have similar strengths and opportunities, weaknesses and challenges. There are the following challenges that are common: skills for the digital age, creating adequate jobs in the age of digital disruption, agricultural productivity, water, pollution, rapid and mass urbanization, sustainable habitats and affordable housing, climate change, protection of biodiversity, building sustainable infrastructure, affordable healthcare, protecting our ocean or blue economy. These challenges require collaboration among governments, universities and laboratories. Policy interventions are important. A lot of finance would be needed, but given the scale and magnitude, we need innovation and technology to address these challenges. These should be the priorities for our government.
जिस प्रकार से हमारे सामने चैलेंजेस है, अगर हम हिसाब लगाएं तो अपॉर्चुनिटी ज्यादा है। कम से कम कॉन्फ्लिक्ट वाला हमारा ये क्षेत्र है। हम सांस्कृतिक रूप से हजारों साल से निकट रहे हैं। पिछले दिनों मैं चीन के राष्ट्रपति से मिलने का अवसर मिला। पहली बार हमारी इनफॉर्मल समिट था। हम 2 ही थे, घंटों तक साथ रहे, कोई एजेंडा नहीं था, टहलते घूमते फिरते बैठते उठते बातें कर रहे थे। और मैंने उन्हें एक डॉक्यूमेंट दिया। अमेरिकन यूनिवर्सिटी ने 2000 साल के आर्थिक विकास यात्रा का एक खाका तैयार किया है, रिसर्च किया है, और उसमें बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग फाइंडिंग है कि पिछले 2000 साल में 1600 साल दुनिया की जीडीपी में 50% कंट्रीब्यूशन चाइना और इंडिया का था। 50% कंट्रीब्यूशन। और 1600 साल, सिर्फ 300 साल ही पश्चिम की तरफ से उसका प्रभाव बढ़ा। 2000 साल में 1600 साल 2 देशों का 50% जीडीपी कंट्रीब्यूशन हो और 1600 साल में कोई कॉन्फ्लिक्ट नहीं था। ये अपने आप में इतना बड़ा मैसेज देता है कि विदाउट एनी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, आंतरिक संकटों से मुक्त होकर के ये इंटरकनेक्टेड हमारा जो जीवन है उसको अगर हम अपॉर्चुनिटी के रूप में कन्वर्ट करें तो हम फिर एक बार पूरे विश्व की मानव जाति शांति और सद्भावना के साथ इतना बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन कर सकते हैं।
I think also these challenges before us, we can transform them into opportunities, because with very less conflict, if we see culturally, civilizationally, we are so close to each other. Recently, last month, I met President Xi of China. This was the first time we were meeting in an informal summit format. There were just the 2 leaders, and we spent hours together without any agenda. We sort of walked around, we sat around, we sort of had walks together, and so spent a lot of time. I handed over a document to President Xi. In the American university, research was carried out on economic development of the world for the last 2,000 years. And it was very interesting what the findings were, is that in those 2,000 years, 1,600 years, the world's GDP, 50% was contributed by China and India. So that's a phenomenal figure. 1,600 years out of 2,000, there was the dominance of China and India, and it's only the last 300 years where we find the dominance of the Western world. So once again, this 1,600 years, 50% of the GDP was our contribution with no conflict, and I think that in itself is a very strong and a very powerful message, without any conflicts. And if we can overcome our internal problems, this interconnected world that we have, if we can transform that into opportunities in the service of humanity for peace and for harmony, then we together can make a huge contribution.
Thank you, Modi ji. Another set of questions from a number of people focuses on a related theme. You place a lot of emphasis on science, technology, and innovation for India's transformation. What are the areas in which technology is helping India's development, say in the next few years? You are known to have special interest in the use of space technology for development as well. What role do you see for space technology for human welfare and development?
मैं समझता हूं कि जो गुड गवर्नेंस की चर्चा हो रही है, गुड गवर्नेंस में स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकती है और कॉमन मैन के गुड्स के लिए, सामान्य मानवी की जिंदगी में बदलाव लाने के लिए स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी का बहुत सहज उपयोग हो सकता है। आज हम देखते हैं स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी के कारण वेदर प्रेडिक्शन में हम we are very, very nearer to 100% prediction. अब ये सही है कि हम बता तो सकते हैं कि भाई 6 जून को ये होगा, मोटे तौर पर इस इलाके में होगा, लेकिन अभी हम उसको नैरो डाउन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। हम स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी को इतना आगे बढ़ने वाला है कि हम स्पेसिफिक एक ही शहर के ये 200 स्क्वायर मीटर के अंदर ये होने वाला है, यहां तक स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी कहने की संभावना होगी। अब ये चीजें मानव जात को कितनी उपयोगी उसका अंदाज कर सकते हैं। मैं जब गुजरात का मुख्यमंत्री था तो मैंने हमारे स्पेस साइंटिस्टों को, इसरो हमारे अहमदाबाद में सेंटर होने के कारण मेरा जाना आना रहता था। मेरी एक बड़ी रुचि थी कि दुनिया में क्या बदलाव होता है देखने के लिए। तो मैंने स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग मेरे फिशरमैन के किया। पहले फिशरमैन फिशिंग के लिए जाता था तो बेचारा इतना दूर दूर जाता था, घंटों तक फिशिंग करता रहता था, कभी कमाता था, नहीं कमाता था, वापस आता था। फिश का एक स्वभाव होता है, जहां जाते हैं बड़े झुंड में जाते हैं और करीब 24 घंटे उसी इलाके में रहते हैं। तो मैंने स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करते हुए कैच एरिया तय किए और नॉटिकल माइल और लॉन्गिट्यूड लेटीट्यूड की सूचना फिशरमैन को दी मोबाइल फोन पे। तो वो सीधा वहां जाता था, मछली पकड़ता था, 3 घंटे में वापस आता था, उसकी इनकम बहुत बढ़ गई।
I feel that in good governance, all these discussions that are taking place nowadays, there is a tremendous contribution that space technology can make. It can transform the life of the common man, and it's very easy to see the uses of space technology in our everyday life. Today, space technology is being used for weather prediction. Almost we are there at 100% correct prediction. We can predict, for instance, on the 6th of June in a particular area, something is going to happen, but the challenge remains that we need to now narrow down that area. And in the times to come, India is going to make so much progress in space technology that in a particular city we'll be able to predict to the 200 square meter prediction what is going to happen, at least the prediction, the possibility. So one can imagine the immense possibilities and use for this in the service of mankind. When I was the Gujarat Chief Minister, the chairman of ISRO often used to come to Ahmedabad, and I was always interested to know what was happening, the latest technologies. And I decided that we could use this technology for the fishermen, because often they would venture far into the sea for hours. They would stay, and they would, whether they got a catch or not, they would return quite disappointed. And it's also the behavior of fishermen that whenever they go in large groups. They stay for 24 hours and then they come back. What we did in Gujarat was, by using space technology, we identified the catch areas. We gave them exactly the latitude and longitude on their mobile phones, and so the fishermen ventured exactly to that area, spent about 3 hours, made the catch, came back, their incomes really multiplied manifold.
उसी प्रकार से रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग, अगर हम सैटेलाइट का उपयोग करके 3D टेक्नोलॉजी को कंबाइन करके अगर हम कैंटू प्लान बनाते हैं और हर विलेज को वो कैंटू प्लान देते हैं और उनको समझाते हैं कि भाई गांव का पानी गांव में रहना चाहिए, आप छोटे छोटे चेक डैम बनाइए और पानी को रोकिए और आप पानी जमीन में जाए इतनी प्रबंध कर लेंगे, धीरे धीरे वाटर लेवल बढ़। ये प्रयोग मैंने सक्सेसफुली किया और उसके कारण मैं जिस क्षेत्र में काम करता था करीब 13 मीटर वाटर टेबल ऊपर आए, जस्ट विद द हेल्प ऑफ सैटेलाइट टेक्नोलॉजी।
Similarly, as far as rainwater harvesting is concerned, the combination of satellite technology and 3D imaging, I was able to convince the villagers and explain to them how they could conserve water, how they could use rainwater and stop its wastage. This way, the groundwater was saved to a large extent, and this was a very successful experiment because the water table went up by as much as 13 meters.
आप जानते हैं डेमोक्रेसी में पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर ग्रुप की अपनी एक दुनिया होती है और उसको झेलना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है। लेकिन टेक्नोलॉजी से उसको छेड़ा जा सकता है। पहले के जमाने में पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर ज्यादा है, यहाँ स्कूल बनाओ, यहाँ अस्पताल बनाओ, या ठीक ना करो। मैंने स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करते हुए मैप तैयार किया कि इतने स्क्वायर किलोमीटर के रेडियस में स्कूल होगा, इतने स्क्वायर किलोमीटर रेडियस के अंदर हॉस्पिटल होगा। कोई भी पॉलिटिशियन आता था तो मैं दिखाता था कि देखिए तुम्हारे यहाँ है, नया नहीं बनेगा। और उसका परिणाम हुआ कि सब दूर समान रूप से डेवलपमेंट में, डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस में टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत बड़ी मदद करती है। चाहे वो रोड बनाना हो, अस्पताल बनाना हो, स्कूल बनाना हो, कोई भी व्यवस्था खड़ी करनी है तो आप सैटेलाइट का मदद लेकर के बहुत आसानी से प्लानिंग कर सकते हैं।
As you know, in democracy, there are a lot of pressures, political pressures, and that is very difficult to handle. But technology gives you the strength to handle that. And whenever there would be political pressure to have establish a school somewhere, university, a hospital, etc. There I used technology, and with the help of space technology, I mapped out areas and determined how much square kilometer radius a school or a hospital should have. And if the politician of the area came to me, I would just show him the map and the technology and the logic behind it. The result was that there was equal development. It also helps you in decision making. It plays a very important role. So when lives are being transformed, whether it's laying of a road, a hospital or school, with satellite imaging and with satellite technology, the work becomes very easy.
मैं हजारों उदाहरण दे सकता हूं, लेकिन मैं आपका समय नहीं लेता हूं।
I can give 1,000 such examples, but we have a limitation of time.
Thank you. We've been talking about technology for society, technology enabling policy. I think you have now coined a new phrase, technology for democracy. India has a very long and deep tradition. Mr. Prime Minister, in your view, what is the role of tradition, heritage, and study of humanities in the technological age? Do you see any conflict between tradition on the one hand and globalization and modernization on the other hand?
अगर टेक्नोलॉजी को कोई अपना हथियार बना देता है तो वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को जन्म देता है, संकट को न्योता देता है। लेकिन अगर इनोवेशन, टेक्नोलॉजी अगर डेडिकेटेड टू द ह्यूमन वैल्यूज है तो वो मानव जाति की एक बहुत बड़ी ताकत बन सकता है। हमने अपनी जीवन यात्रा अगर हम पत्थर युग से शुरू करें तो आज तक हम जहां पहुंचे हैं, हमें यहां पहुंचाने में हर युग में इनोवेशन ने, टेक्नोलॉजी ने कोई न कोई रोल प्ले किया है जिसने हमें यहां पहुंचाया है। और इन सब के अंदर एथिक्स, वैल्यूज, ह्यूमैनिटी ये इनबिल्ट था। आगे भी उन्हीं वैल्यूज को लेकर के अगर हम चलते हैं तो जो भी जिस स्केल पे आज इनोवेशन हो रहा है, जीवन के हर क्षेत्र में जिस प्रकार से टेक्नोलॉजी रोल कर रही है, ये मानव जाति की ताकत को बढ़ाएगी। और जब नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज कम हो रहे हैं, हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ी चुनौती बन रही है, तब ऑल्टरनेट सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी, और सिर्फ एनर्जी है नहीं, नॉट इन द सेंस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, जीवन के हर क्षेत्र की एनर्जी हमें नई टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन से इवॉल्व करना होगा जो मानव जाति की रिक्वायरमेंट को पूरा करे।
If technology is used to make weapons, then it gives rise to conflict, and it also invites more problems. But if innovation and technology are combined with human values, then in the service of humanity, the kind of force multiplier that it has cannot be imagined. Our life started with the Stone Age, and we have reached here today. In every age, as we went through the centuries, there was innovation, but in all this, at the heart of it was also ethics, values, and human values. This was inherently inbuilt in our story of civilization. And in the future too, if we can combine these intrinsic values, the scale at which the world is changing today, technology can contribute in a big way when it's also combined with values. When natural resources deplete and we look at alternative sources, energy, and here I'm not talking about energy in terms of electricity, but of light energy, then it is through innovation, through technology, that we can evolve and we can respond to the needs and requirements of mankind.
मैं एक छोटा सा अनुभव बताता हूँ आपको। एक जमाने में एक छोटा सा इक्विपमेंट आता था, मैं नाम तो भूल गया उसका, जिसमें मैसेजिंग आता था।
पेजर।
हाँ, पेजर। मुझे बराबर याद है, या उस समय एक चर्चा चलती थी, और खास करके जो ह्यूमन वैल्यूज को एडवोकेट करने की जरा उत्साही लोग रहते थे, वो कहते थे कि पेजर के कारण चिट्ठी लिखने का, क्रिएटिविटी का, फीलिंग एक्सप्रेशन की दुनिया खत्म हो जाएगी। और ये बहुत बड़ा डिबेट था। मैं और सूरज जब आज से 30 साल पहले का सोचे, तो ये डिबेट था दुनिया में कि ये सब मनुष्य की क्रिएटिविटी खत्म कर देगा। आप देखिए, टेक्नोलॉजी बढ़ते बढ़ते यहां पहुंची कि आज ट्विटर ने हमारी क्रिएटिविटी को हजारों गुना बढ़ा दिया। आज हर एक के मोबाइल में यहाँ बैठा हुआ हर कोई लेखक बन गया है, हर कोई पत्रकार बन गया है, हर कोई कमेंटेटर बन गया है। उसी टेक्नोलॉजी ने क्रिएटिविटी को कैसी ताकत दे दी, यानी जो सोच थी उसे दुनिया ने परिणाम अलग पाया। तो ये टेक्नोलॉजी की ताकत है।
I'll just share a small experience with you. Pager, you all know, 30 years ago, and I remember the kind of debates and discussions that we used to have around this device, where those so-called, those who advocate human values, they said that this little device was going to put an end to writing, to creativity, and that was the end of all these kind of professions, everything centered around creativity. That was the debate raging 30 years ago. But what do we see? We see that with technology having come forward and progressed by leaps and bounds, it hasn't diminished creativity in any way. It has only contributed further to creativity finding full flowering. For instance, in tweets. Today, everyone has become a writer, has become a journalist. And I think technology has given strength to creativity. So what was thought and what the reality is completely different, and this is the strength of technology.
Thank you. We are in the very early stages of the fourth industrial revolution, when automation is growing rapidly. And there is understandable fear around the world that this revolution is going to disrupt jobs, eliminate many routine jobs, especially for a developing country like India with a large population, a diverse country. How do you ensure inclusive growth in the age of fourth industrial revolution?
एक तो दुनिया में जो मान्यता बन जाती है कि डिसरप्शन मीन्स डिस्ट्रक्शन, ये मैं मानता हूं सबसे गलत सोच है। अगर डिसरप्शन नहीं है तो प्रगति की संभावना ही नहीं है, वरना तो जिंदगी गुजारते हैं वैसे ही पुरानी पद्धति से दुनिया चलती रहती है। और इसलिए मैं समझता हूं कि डिसरप्शन ये ह्यूमन टैलेंट एंड क्रिएटिविटी से जुड़ा हुआ विषय है। तो वी मस्ट वेलकम डिसरप्शन। हमने उससे डरने की, भागने की जरूरत नहीं है, और तभी तो नया हम अचीव कर सकते हैं। दूसरी बात है कि पहले के जमाने जब बिल्कुल नया नया कंप्यूटर आया तो दुनिया में चर्चा चलती थी कि जॉब चले जाएंगे, कंप्यूटर आएंगे तो क्या होगा, लोगों को नौकरी नहीं मिलेगी। अब हम देख रहे हैं कि उसी कंप्यूटर ने नया जॉब का एक नई दुनिया खड़ी कर दी। यानी हर नया इनोवेशन प्रारंभिक दूर से अगर डिस्ट्रप्शन दिखता भी है तो एक न्यू एस्टैब्लिशमेंट करता है। दूसरा, सोसाइटी इंक्लूसिव डेवलपमेंट के बिना चलने वाली नहीं है। हर नई व्यवस्था में हर किसी के लिए कोई न कोई अवकाश होता है। पहले के जमाने में अगर मैं हिंदुस्तान की बात करूं तो गांव के अंदर साइकिल के टायर पंक्चर करने वाली एक दुकान रहती थी। आज गांव में 4 मोबाइल फोन रिपेयरिंग वालों की दुकान होती है। तो दिस इज ये चेंज आता है, ये चेंज आता है, और ये इंक्लूसिव सोसाइटी के गारंटी बनता है। और इसलिए मैं मानता हूं। और तीसरा, समाज में टेक्नोलॉजी के कारण आज एक गरीब के हाथ में भी मोबाइल फोन हो, एक अरबोपति के पास में मोबाइल फोन हो, दोनों की ताकत समान होती है। टेक्नोलॉजी एम्पावरमेंट करती है, और जब एम्पावरमेंट होता है तो इंक्लूजन के लिए वो अपने आप में दरवाजे खोल देती है। और मैं मानता हूं कि टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन सोसाइटी सोशल डिवाइड को कम करने का एक बहुत बड़ा साधन बन सकती है, और वो इंक्लूजन के लिए एक नई तस्वीर पैदा करती है। और इसलिए मैं कॉन्फिडेंट हूं कि हाँ, टेक्नोलॉजी एफोर्डेबल हो, यूजर फ्रेंडली हो और इजीली एक्सेसिबल हो। इस तरफ जितना ध्यान पॉलिसी मेकर्स ने देना चाहिए, इनोवेटर्स ने देना चाहिए, मैन्युफैक्चरर्स ने देना चाहिए, ताकि जैसे डिजिटल डिवाइड नहीं होना चाहिए वैसे ही टेक्नोलॉजिकल डिवाइड भी सोसाइटी में नहीं होना चाहिए।
First of all, I think this whole discussion and this benchmark that we have in the world, that disruption means destruction, I think that's completely wrong. There cannot be any progress. In fact, disruption gives rise to new steps of development, and if we didn't have disruption, then we would continue with our old routine lives. So I feel that disruption, in fact, brings together human talent and creativity. In that manner, I feel that we should be welcoming disruption and not fearing it. We need to welcome new things that come into our lives. Secondly, when computers were coming in about 30-40 years ago, there was this entire debate that this would eat up all our jobs, that there would be no jobs, there would be unemployment. But if you see, computers has given rise to an entire world of jobs. So each new innovation definitely brings in some disruption, but then a new reality comes into being. Secondly, society has to be inclusive in the new system. There has to be newer ways of including everyone in society. Let me give you the example of India in villages 40-50 years ago. Every village had a cycle tire puncture shop to repair cycle punctures. Today, every village has 4 shops which repair mobile phones. So this is the change. This is the changed world that we see. Thirdly, in society, technology is also an empowering tool. There is a mobile phone in the hands of a very poor person. There is also a mobile phone in the hands of a billionaire. So in that sense, this technology gives immense strength and empowers even the poor. And technology is supposed to empower. It's only then we can have an inclusive growth. We need to open our doors to technology, to innovation. And in a technology-driven society, this can help end divisions in society. And I'm quite confident that technology should be affordable, so the conditions are, it should be affordable, should be user-friendly, should be accessible, and this is something that policymakers, innovators, manufacturers must take into account, so that just as there should be no digital divide, there should be no technological divide in society.
Thank you very much for that. My last question, actually this question comes from a lot of people, so let me ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, given your hectic schedule and enormous responsibilities, how do you maintain stamina and optimism on a daily basis? And where do you find the time to tweet and do Facebook?
जब मैं दुनिया को देखता हूं, मैं कभी मेरे देश की सेना के जवान को इतनी कठिन परिस्थिति में, कभी बर्फ के बीच में, तो कभी रेगिस्तान में, तो कभी पानी में, घंटों तक देश की सेवा के लिए खड़ा हुआ, और उसके लिए मैं सोचता हूं, कभी मैं किसी मां को घंटों तक मजदूरी कर करके अपने बच्चों को बड़ा करते हुए देखता हूं, किसी मजदूर को अपने बच्चों की जिंदगी संवारने के लिए जिंदगी घसीटते हुए देखता हूं, तो मुझे लगता है कि जब ये लोग इतना करते हैं तो मुझे चैन से सोने का हक नहीं है। ये कॉमन मैन मेरा इंस्पिरेशन है, और इसलिए बिना थके, बिना रुके, आपको जानकर के जरूर आश्चर्य होगा, मैं 2001 से प्रत्यक्ष इस प्रकार की लाइमलाइट की लाइफ में आया हूं। मुख्यमंत्री बना, उसके बाद प्रधानमंत्री बना। मेरी जिंदगी तो पहले भी ऐसी ही थी, लेकिन 2001 के बाद कैमरा मेरे सामने आया और दुनिया को पता चले कि ऐसी भी कोई जिंदगी होती है। लेकिन अगर मैं 2001 से अब तक देखूं, मैंने अभी तक 15 मिनट वैकेशन नहीं लिया है 2001 से आज तक। और फिर इसके लिए अपने आप को फिट रखना, और फिट रखने में जितना शरीर को ठीक रखना महत्व है, उतना मन को भी है। अगर हम अपने आप को डिटेच रखते हैं, किसी बात का मोह नहीं रखते, मैं समझता हूं बहुत आराम से आप जिंदगी के निर्णय कर सकते हैं। किसी भी प्रकार के बर्डन के बिना आप आगे चलते चले जाते हैं।
When I see the world, when I see soldiers who are serving the nation in difficult conditions, whether they are in covered in snow-laden areas or the desert or in water for hours, they are doing this in the service of our country. When I think of a mother who has to labor for hours because she wants to give a different life to her children, bringing up her children, or any laborer who is toiling away because he or she wants to give a better life to their children, to the next generation, the way they are carrying on with their lives, it's when I feel that when these people can do it, so can I. And I do not have the right to sleep peacefully without toiling. And because I find that the common man has such great aspirations, and therefore I have to work tirelessly, I cannot stop. You'll be surprised that this is a new life for me. From 2001 onwards, I was leading exactly the same life till 2001. It's only that when I came into the limelight, into politics, became the Chief Minister and now the Prime Minister. But my life was exactly the same before 2001 as it is today. And if you see the time from 2001 till today, I have not even taken 15 minutes of vacation in a year. And to do this, to keep on working, one has to keep oneself very fit, fit in body, but also fit in mind and soul. And if you don't have any attraction or any, what we call in Hindi, moh, when you really aspire for something very, in a negative sort of way, then you can easily take decisions and there is no burden, you can only progress and go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. On behalf of the nearly 2,000 people here who are gathered here today and thousands more who are watching us on Facebook Live, I would like to offer our enormous gratitude to you for being here and taking time from your very busy schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency Narendra Modi, for sharing your astute observations of the changing global landscape and the valuable opportunity to learn from your experience. We would also like to thank Minister Ong for gracing the ceremony and for your most fitting introduction of His Excellency Narendra Modi. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated while we invite His Excellency Narendra Modi to proceed to the tree planting ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, could I request you to please remain seated while they take their leave.